So what information do you need before you commence a renewal or tender process?
So be sure to really understand the requirements of your business, understand the requirements of end users of different parts of the organisation, but also make sure that those are aligned to the business objectives, the business strategy and the overall IT strategy of your organisation. So don't just go into this from the bottom up, looking at the existing services and contracts that you've got. Look at it really from the top down. What is this going to achieve for your organisation? Once you understand those requirements, have a good look at what the current market is doing for those services. Have things moved on since you put in place your existing technologies and contracts and suppliers? Are there other options that you might want to be considering outside of your existing supplier? Because obviously that's going to lead you more towards a tender process than a renewal. What is your pricing looking like compared to the market now? If you signed a contract 3 to 5 years ago, it's probably going to be looking very, very different. So is that, again, going to need a competitive process to drive it to the right place? So there's an awful lot to consider there in terms of what you want to be achieving through the process, what the market is doing, and therefore what is that context that this process is going to take place within.
And are there particular circumstances that would lead you to one process or the other, a renewal versus a tender?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, really going back to that question of what the market is doing at the moment in all areas, mobile, WAN, telephony, contact centre, we're seeing massive change at the moment. And particularly in the last 18 months to 2 years, we have seen emergence of new technologies in WAN at an incredibly rapid rate. So therefore, for those types of change that might be considered of technology, organisations might be considering a really transformative approach. Can you achieve that transformation if you're just going for renewal with an existing supplier? Or do you owe it to yourself to really understand what the market is doing and get some other parties in to give you that full proposition? So that would lend itself to a competitive tender, as would if you are very far off in terms of cost or in terms of service. So if there's huge frustration with how the existing supplier is working for you, why on earth wouldn't you also see what's out there and whether they could achieve something better? That said, might be completely the opposite. You might be really quite happy with your existing supplier. They might be you're achieving that holy grail of being proactive in their account management. They might have already been to you with what the market is doing technically and what they might be able to offer in that sphere. You might have done your requirements gathering and independently found out that what they have to offer is really well aligned with those strategies and what you're trying to achieve. If that's the case, obviously you need to consider renewal, or maybe you're kind of halfway between those two things. Quite happy with an existing supplier, but need to drive in different directions, potentially into new technologies or new service or cost areas. So maybe see what they can bring to the table first, but then also maybe continue to keep a competitive tender process in mind for the future.